What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Cjthecheesedj here, and we are back with a brand new top 10 video for you guys today. And today we are taking a look at top 10 turret dinos. That's right, you heard that correctly, top 10 turret dinos. So guys, if you're not aware, in the Ark there are dinos that you can actually set to turret mode, and these will pretty much act as portable dino turrets. So we're going to go over the list of the top 10 best ones, and let's jump straight into it. Now guys, coming in at number 10, we have the Uranio. Now the Uranio doesn't actually have a turret mode, but that doesn't mean it's not a turret dino. You can currently see there it does spit out its web, and what you can actually do is you can set it onto aggressive, and it will actually target pretty much anything nearby with its web. And don't get me wrong, this is a great turret dino. You can currently see there, look how much we've slowed the Paraceratherium and the Bronto, like by a significant amount. So imagine if you guys got a couple of these guys set onto aggressive and they're just targeting all players nearby. Okay, well, now you've just gone and destroyed my point, little guy, because you're getting destroyed by a Paracer, because instead of shooting your webs, you want to go into melee combat with it. So you can obviously use this guy, but he is best off by being ridden, especially if you're getting raided and you know you've got dudes trying to get in with like Paraceratheriums or Stegos and stuff like that. You can easily just web them up and let your turrets destroy them from a distance, as well as slow them down so say your gigas and stuff like that can actually get into contact with them and then kill them. These guys definitely have their uses. They're a pain in the ass to tame though. That's why they're obviously at the top of the list, because they're a pain in the ass to tame and they don't technically have a turret mode. But nonetheless, they're still really good to have around if you do want a turret dino. So guys, let's move on to number 9. Now guys, coming in at number 9, we have the Dillo. Now the Dillo does have a dedicated turret mode, and he is great for putting in turret mode. So essentially what the Dillo's turret mode does is it causes him to spit his poisonous bile out at pretty much stuff that walks by. You gonna do it, buddy? You gonna do it? He's right there. Come on, you know you want to. You gonna spit? You gonna spit, mate? Yeah, you've got your tracking system working. Can you spit for me? So the Dillo's turret mode pretty much causes him to spit the green bile that he vomits up. Now, for some reason, our little dude here isn't doing it. So what we're going to do, we're going to call in this guy, and hopefully that helps. Is that going to trigger it? There we go. So you can see there, that causes him to shoot out his green bile. It's not the best turret mode, obviously, out of all dinos, but it is up there because it does potentially have the ability to blind enemy players if it does hit. Especially if you've got a large quantity of them. He just loves taking his bloody time to spit though, doesn't he? So it's definitely worth investing in these guys. Just a couple of them, like, you know, 2 or 3 of them wandering around inside your base, you know, sort of thing on turret mode can actually make a difference, because it could potentially blind any enemy's PvPers, and it also slows them down as well. So now we can actually get away from this raptor instead of suffering its annoying wrath. But guys, the Dillo comes in at number 9. It is a decent creature to have, and that's why it's made the list. Now guys, coming in at number 8, we've got the bug-eyed dude himself, the Arthropleura. This guy has a turret mode as well, and he is pretty damn intense. So if you guys remember correctly, the Arthropleura's spit actually does corrosive damage to armor. So if you've got a couple of these set around the base and you've got some PvPers coming in and they've come in and they're trying to soak with the flak, well, you've got the Arthropleura here to actually spit his, I guess you could call it venom on them, and actually destroy their armor, allowing your turrets to actually kill them a lot faster. Now, as well as that, setting them on turret mode and aggressive will pretty much cause them to stay in the one spot, but still attack targets they get too close to them, which is pretty good, especially for once again enemy players or enemy dinos. Although for the Arthropleura, it's not really that useful against enemy dinos, it's more so for against enemy players because it has that corrosive spit attack. But guys, that's why it's number 8 on the list. Let's move on to number 7. Now guys, coming in at number 7, we have the Yudi. Now the Yudi also has a turret mode, which actually doesn't deal damage. It's more of a fear roll. So you can actually set the Yudi onto turret mode, and what he will do is actually do his fear roll, which will cause obviously enemy dinos to crap themselves and run away. You can see there, poor little raptor's scared now and he's going to get away. Now this guy pairs really well with some of the other turret dinos on this list, because of that ability to do the fear roar and cause those creatures to take extra damage when affected by the fear roar. So if you've got one of the, even just one of these guys set up with your base and next to your other turret dinos, you can actually cause your dudes to do a lot more damage. Now this also does work on pteranodons and stuff like that. So anything that PvPers potentially bring to your base, your Yudi can actually scare them off and cause them to take more damage from all sources, including your standard auto turrets. But that's why this guy is on the list. He does have a pretty decent range on himself as well. But yeah, guys, the Yudi comes in at number 7 on the list. Now, guys, coming in at number 6, we have the Cjthecheesedj. Now, this is one of the dudes that pair well with the Yudi and his Raw, but pretty much this guy throws boulders at any enemies when he's in turret mode. You can currently see here we do have turret mode enabled, so we're just going to spawn in another raptor, and you guys will see that this guy will hopefully throw a boulder sometime soon before the Yudi can scare him off. Never mind, this guy likes to take his time to get his boulders nice and ripe for the enemy, but this guy, like I said, does have the ability to throw boulders, and there he goes. I don't know where that boulder was going, but it definitely was not towards that raptor. Now, this guy does have the ability to hit multiple targets as well. You can currently see he's got that tracking on for that raptor. What we're going to do is we're going to go for a Rex, and we'll show you guys how much he does. So there we go. Let's get the Rex in. Now, I don't think the Rex will get feared. Oh my god, that is a nice looking Rex. The Rex won't get feared by the Yudi, but you can see there the Cjthecheesedj does throw his boulders, and also when the Rex gets too close, he will bite him. But you can see there he does have a pretty decent rate of fire, and the boulder itself actually does quite a bit of damage. Come on, mate, you're going to throw another boulder for me? Don't leave the people waiting. Throw the boulder. Cjthecheesedj, throw the goddamn boulder. He's just going to stand there, isn't he? As you can see, the devs actually need to work on the turret mode for the dinos, because a lot of the time they are very buggy. The one dino that I've found that probably is the least buggy is further on this list. You guys will see him soon. Buddy, are you gonna throw something? There we go. Okay, you throw it straight into the Yudi butt. That's not what we wanted to see. Let's give you a saddle and hopefully fix this up. Alright, well, the Yudi's in the way now. Come on, Yudi, get over here, mate. Well, guys, it's good to see that still absolutely nothing works when I'm trying to record. Okay, now that we're on a saddle, you can see there the boulder actually hits for 319 damage, which is a pretty solid amount of damage. This guy is a 150 tame, but the only downside to the Cjthecheesedjs is that they are kind of annoying to tame, because you do need beer in order to tame these guys up. But other than that, these guys do make pretty good turret dinos. I don't know if I'd recommend them, but, you know, they still do have their uses. Here he goes, he's throwing another one. There you go. 319 damage, pretty solid amount of damage. So, guys, let's move on to number 5. Now, guys, coming in at number 5, we have the Parasaur. Now, the Parasaur also has a turret mode for those of you that weren't aware, and he pretty much has the ability to detect if there are any hostile presences nearby. That includes wild dinos and players and tames. Now, you can obviously configure this guy to do either of those, but you'll see here that once he does go off, you'll see that the raptor will gain a little bit of a red circle. You gonna do it, mate? Did you do it? Come on, set the red circle for me. Okay, now he's under attack. And he also has the ability to scare off small to medium-sized creatures, like the raptor, for example. But, like I said, he does have the ability to detect them, and you can see there, that red reticle is what pops up when he detects enemy players, enemy tames, or wild enemy dinos. So he's really good, and he has quite a bit of range on him, and this guy has saved me from being raided quite a few times, because I've logged off, jumped back on, and this guy has detected enemies that have logged off on top of my base, waiting for me to get online. So guys, the Parasaur comes in at number 5 on the list. Now guys, coming in at number 4, we have this big beefy boy, the Rock Elemental. The Rock Elemental also has a turret mode very similar to the Cjthecheesedj, wherein he throws bloody boulders. Now, I'm talking giant boulders. Now, this guy does have a slightly better fire rate than the Cjthecheesedj I've found, and he also does deal a little bit more damage, which is obviously understandable since you're dealing with a gigantic freaking Rock Elemental. So, yeah, this guy does have his uses. I've used this guy a couple of times for my own base defense as well, just setting him up as extra sort of turret defense while I get my other turrets set up. And like I said, if any enemies come into range of him, he will switch to melee attack and just demolish everything that comes into his range. So he's really useful for that. Is he going to throw a boulder for me, mate? Throw another boulder. Come on. Show the people on the camera. You can do it, mate. Throw a boulder. He is set to aggressive. He should throw a boulder. He's just doing a little bit of a side jig. Now, guys, what I normally do with these guys is I do set them on with turrets. Not turrets, sorry. With leashes. The leashes actually hold them in place in case they do decide to move, and I have found that it actually does slightly help the turret mode. But the Rock Elemental just doesn't want to cooperate today. Come on, mate, can you throw one boulder for me? There's a Bronto right there. There we go, atta boy. So you can see that he threw the boulder, and that dealt 452 damage. Decent amount of damage, and he's just taking his bloody sweet time for some reason today. You are useless, you know that. absolutely... I'm just playing. That's why, guys, the Rock Elemental is number 4 on the list. Now, guys, coming in at number 3, we have the Wyverns. Now, I only actually found this out recently, that the Wyverns actually have a turret mode. Granted, it's a little bit buggy. I don't know what you're trying to hit there, mate, but there is nothing in front of you. Are you just trying to go for the Bronto tail? Is that what you're trying to hit? These guys do have a turret mode. I'd recommend only using the Lightning Wyvern and the Poison Wyvern as the ones with turret mode. Main reason being because the Fire Wyvern does have a turret mode, however, it's not as effective. And he's just gone off to do his own little thing. Thanks, mate. Thanks. Trying to do this for a video and you can't even work properly. So the Wyverns do have a turret mode, and like I said, the Lightning and the Poison are the best ones to do so. And you can see that you have to actually enable their turret mode to do so, but they'll pretty much just fly up in the area and just do damage. You can see there that Bronto just got absolutely annihilated by our Lightning Wyvern. The only problem with this is, once again, they are susceptible to any sort of enemy fire, enemy gunshots, rocket launchers, you name it. But if you do keep a couple of these guys inside the base, they can shred through dinos and players very quickly. And they are definitely worth investing in, especially the poison ones, in fact, where they can actually kill you off the back of your mount. So that's really effective as well, guys. We'll actually show you the poison one real quick. So guys, here is the Poison Wyvern, and you'll see that he is actually able to fire his Poison Breath. Now, this one is a little bit more effective than the Lightning Wyvern because they don't have to be so close to him in order to fire. As well as that, he also does have the Mist effect, which does deal continuous damage as well. But guys, that's the Poison Wyvern and the Lightning Wyvern. Like I said, the Fire Wyvern isn't that great, and the Frost Wyvern is up to you. He does allow you to slow down your enemies, which can be a benefit if they are soaking. But yeah, guys, let's move on to number 2. Now, guys, coming in at number 2, we have the Basilisk. The Basilisk is very similar to the Poison Wyvern in that he is able to fire the Poison Globules that pretty much deal the area of effect damage and the torpor damage. As well as that, if they do get into range, the Basilisk packs a punch against whatever he's fighting. And you can see there, this poor Paracer is trying to get away from him, but oh, he just managed to escape. But yeah, the Basilisk is really good. Now, from what I've been able to see, you can also increase their targeting range to the highest so that they are able to target creatures further away. Now, this does apply for all creatures on this list as well. Probably something I should have mentioned at the beginning of the video, but you can see there that the Basilisk will be able to target creatures that are further away. And his Poison Spit is definitely something to be reckoned with. Once again, having the ability to knock players off their mounts as well. You fire another spit for me, mate. Come on. You know you want to do it. Come on, you can do it for me. He's just staring at me. There we go, attaboy. So yeah, guys, the Basilisk also has a turret mode, and it's probably one of the best ones because it's very similar. It actually lasts longer, I think, than the Poison Wyvern. As well as that, it also hits a lot harder. And you can actually bury these guys if you don't want them in turret mode as well, if you want to go down that route. So guys, let's move on to number 1, the pinnacle of the turret dinos. Now guys, hands down, the number 1 turret dino is the Venusaur. This dude is absolutely nuts, and you will find people using him for their bases all the time. We haven't actually even set him into turret mode, and he's already firing at the bloody Bronto. No, come back here, mate. He's already firing at the Bronto. He's not even in turret mode. This guy is crazy. Now, fun fact about the Venusaur, you can't actually... Well, leveling up its melee damage doesn't actually increase its damage in turret mode while you're not riding it. So, if you are using these guys as base defense, don't bother using them... Don't bother pumping their melee damage up because they will not deal extra damage from it. So that is definitely something that you have to keep in mind with these guys. But these guys are by far the most accurate, the most damage dealing turret dinos in all of Ark. In my opinion, I think they are definitely deserving of the number 1 spot. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys their power. We're going to set them onto their turret modes, change their stance to aggressive, change their targeting range to the highest, as well as you, mate. You already set to it. Yep. And high. And then we'll go behavior. And that one. Oh, helps if we set it. Now, these guys are commonly used as base defense dinos all the time because of their turret ability. You guys going to shoot it? There we go. So you can see there, they absolutely shred what comes their way. Let's get this Rex into play. Look at this. This guy's going to get destroyed. Are you going to fire, mate? There we go. Now they're both firing. And look at the Rex. Poor Rex, he's going to go down anytime now. Now, while you do have these guys, what I would recommend pumping on the turret ones is health and stamina for these guys, because health for obviously keeping them alive for longer, and stamina so that they can actually shoot for longer as well, because that does play a factor in it. But these guys are well deserving of their #1 spot, and like I said, these guys paired with a Uti will definitely demolish whatever comes their way. As well as that, you can set up a lot of these guys around your base, outside your base, wherever the heck you want to, and they'll pretty much demolish most things that come their way. So guys, that's going to wrap up the video today. Let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. Let me know whether or not you enjoyed it, but don't forget to leave a like and subscribe as well. But other than that, guys, I will catch you in the next one. I got this